I'm always smoking in this goddamn place. So this is beautiful. I'm back at one of my favorite spots and they're setting up right now. So I kind of just communicated the best I could by pointing and saying the words in Thai that I do know. And now they're showing me what they're cooking and I'm observing some things that I've always wanted to know. So what we're doing right now, we're making Khao Man Gai, which is the Hainanese chicken and rice dish that the Thai kind of adapted. Their adaptation of it has a little bit of differences, like the sauce is a little different, but the core of it, a soup, poached chicken, and rice that's fatty. It's fatty rice because it's cooked in the chicken fat. That's where the khao man comes from.
So you just like take the starches out basically?
Yeah. I like to, some people soak it. I don't find that necessary.
So you just let them sit out so they dry out, or that's just...
I let it sit out because I just like to cook things when they're room temperature. As you can control the cooking a little more. You're not just shocking it right away, but it's fine if it's straight from the fridge. I know the health department would kill me for that, so if you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's completely fine. So what we're doing here, I have a chicken stock I made from bones, and then I rendered out the fat, and you get this nice fat here, and that's what we're gonna cook the rice in. I like to make a quick paste of just ginger, shallot, and garlic. It's all pretty much equal parts, and a little pinch of salt in there, and then I'll pound it up. Sometimes people add galangal to this, and sometimes you don't see this at all. I just find that this gives a little bit more flavor to the rice.
Oh, you cook the rice?
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna toast this in this chicken fat, and then I'm gonna toast the rice, and then I'm gonna pour over the chicken stock. So the rice cooks in a harmony of chicken. So very rough paste here. I'm gonna add some of this fats to the pan. So as I said, this is just for extra flavor. I'm just toasting aromatics in the chicken fat before I add the rice. So I'm gonna toast the rice inside of here. So you're essentially wanting to toast the rice here. It's coated in the chicken fat, so it's really gonna lock in the rice and it's gonna give it this glossy texture to it. And honestly, this is such good rice for fried rice. So, I mean, it only makes sense for us to make a fried rice with it, right? It won't stick to the pan if you added enough oil and your heat is high enough. So you start to see it. The grains are starting to turn a little bit, just toasting it. And then we're gonna put in a little bit of the stock. The stock is warm, by the way. If you pour in cold stock, it's gonna stop the cooking and the toasting you did, and it's gonna change the whole cooking process here, so make sure it's warm.
Can you explain how you made the stock?
Yeah, the stock is with chicken feet. There's tons of collagen in the chicken feet, so when you cook it down, it basically renders into gelatin, which is what gives you that nice, like, jello-y stock. So the chicken feet are really good, and then a bunch of chicken bones. And I basically just add all the bones to water, bring it up to a boil, and then dump it all out. That cleans everything up, any blood, just makes a more clean stock. And then I just add more water again and simmer it for a while, as long as you have, basically. Keep adding water so you can, lengthen the time. And then towards the end, I will add aromatics. For this one in particular, I just added like a daikon, some black peppercorns, cilantro root, garlic, a little bit of ginger. That's about it. There's no salt in this because I want to control it otherwise. So what you're doing now is you're just gonna bring this to a boil. A little bit more water. By the way, this is like 1 part rice to 1 part liquid, or maybe a little bit more than 1, but it's not 2 to 1. That's gonna give you very wet rice. So what we have over here is the chicken stock. I'm just gonna add, I made the chicken stock yesterday, so I'm just gonna add some ginger. It'll kind of just brighten it up a little bit. Part of the flavor in Khao Man Gai that makes it what it is the pandan leaf by Toi, and it's an amazing leaf that has an amazing fragrance, and it's used in curries and in soups, but it's that one particular flavor that if you see a vendor selling this, you will smell it. You'll smell this gingery, pandan, garlicky chicken smell, and that's from this guy here. So what you can do is just basically knot it up and then put it in. I like to put a lot in, so I'm gonna add another one. I want that flavor. See this come into a boil? Once this is at a boil, we're just gonna cover it and turn the heat down all the way and set a timer for 15 minutes. Let's just talk about poaching a chicken. And what you do is you use stock or you use water. Stock's gonna give you a little bit more body. And you bring the stock to a boil, then we drop in the chicken and we're gonna let that come back up to a boil. And once that comes up to a boil, then we cover it and we just turn off the heat and just wait like 30 to 35 minutes and it's cooked. This is a Thai version of the sauce. The main ingredient here is yellow bean. It's a fermented yellow bean. Such a distinct flavor. It's very Chinese. And then we also have thin soy, black soy, white vinegar, sugar, ginger, and Thai chili. And the balance here that you want to achieve, or at least that I think you should achieve, is a little bit of sweetness, but mostly salty. And I do like it to be pretty acidic. And some will pound up cilantro root, garlic, the chilies and the ginger and put it in the base here, but I prefer just to use a little bit of ginger and chili in the base, but then kind of serve it like this. I feel like the Thai people generally, and I've been told this, they want to make you happy. So they're not necessarily assuming you don't like something spicy, but if there's a way that you can customize, they want you to do it. And I find that that's a really cool way to present food. That's the rice. I'm just gonna turn the heat off now, just let it sit a little more. This part is really key of letting it sit. Look at the gloss. So much of the best food comes out of necessity. And to me, Khao Man Gai is like just the most perfect thing. You could cook this for your family and it's very cost effective and you get a lot out of it. You buy one chicken and all of a sudden you have a soup, you have rice, you have chicken, you can use the leftovers to make other dishes. It's not your standard Thai food that people know it as, where it's blasting you with spicy, sour, sweet, salty. It's not that. It's a more muted, just very comforting dish. When you make this, your body will feel good. When you're sick, make this and your body will feel better. Color on it looks really good. And you want to just follow the bone. And I removed the wishbone already before cooking. As long as you follow the bone, you're gonna get the most meat as possible. This right here, this is 100% American-sized portions. Like this is the epitome of an American-sized Khao Man Gai version. In Thailand, you'll get like half this amount, and that's really all you need. The beauty here though, is we are gonna have half this amount because Josh and I are sharing it like great friends do. So just pour that sauce in here, top it with some ginger. Josh is gonna kill me for this one, but I want him to experience it how I like it. So we're gonna add Thai chilies in there, and that's it. I mean, that's the dish. Oh, one extra thing. From the chicken fat that I made from the skin, I made little crispies. So good. So these, sometimes you'll find them. I just like to give an extra garnish here. And that's the dish right there, except one key component, the soup. So what I'm gonna do is take some fish sauce here, each bowl, just so it's seasoned. Another thing you'll note too, is usually this soup is quite a clear soup. It's a little bit darker here, and that's because I've just been using it for other things. And when making the stock, if you're making a stock, and we talked about this a little earlier, and you just keep it boiling for too long, you are gonna make a cloudy stock. So if you want it to be a little more clean, simmer it. But this is pure flavor, so it's okay for me. And then we're gonna bring some lovin'. No, just one little more thing here. Just some cilantro, stems, done. A little bit of scallion. And my favorite thing is white pepper. I hit it with a lot of white pepper. And that right there is Khao Man Gai. out of this world. The thing I love about this is really that it's a one-plate dish. That's the theme here. This is just one dish you will find, and you'll just pay $1 essentially, and you'll eat the dish and you'll be on with your day.
Obviously the chicken is incredibly tender and delicious, but the sauce is great because everything else is like really light and refreshing. The cucumber has a really like refreshing zing to it, you know? This is great. It's like
it's a simple simple dish. So this is the chicken here from the whole bird. Using the dark meat, just pulling it apart, and we'll add it to the fried rice. So the base of the fried rice, it could literally just be an egg and rice and then a little bit of seasoning. I often like to add garlic, or I'll add galangal, which is not ginger. I tell you that all the time. You can make a paste of whatever you have in your fridge. If you have lemongrass, you know, make a paste of lemongrass, garlic, whatever. But what I want to show you is just the heart of it is literally just fried rice. So I'm debating not using a paste at all, or maybe just a little bit of garlic, since we have it pounded up here already, actually. We'll use some garlic. With the chicken left over, keeping with that theme, we're gonna use that, and we're gonna use the thigh meat here, which we just sliced up, and make the quick fried rice. I like to infuse, if I'm gonna use an aromatic, I like to infuse the oil first with a little bit of garlic. You grab a wok turner here. Kind of a slow infuse. I think a big misconception actually between a lot of Thai stir frying and Chinese stir frying, not that Chinese do not use lower heat, but a lot of stir frying is over like just ridiculous heat at all times, especially in Chinese stir fry. If you watch street vendors in Thailand make stir fry dishes, they will always be adjusting the heat. Oops, splashing on myself. And just let it set for a second. Move in the garlic so it doesn't threaten to burn. And then start to do like a scramble as you let it set. Which at that point, as it's setting, you can just start dropping in the rice. And now you're gonna do a flip over, and you're gonna see all that egg. You just kind of go around. And then seasoning, a little bit of fish sauce I like to do. I like Golden Mountain. This is a great all-purpose soy sauce and seasoning sauce, especially if you're gluten-free. No wheat in this one. And I like a little bit of color, so I use dark soy, or black soy rather. And keep in mind, this rice looks wetter than it is, but it's not wet. It's actually the chicken fat. So always remember that. That's the whole point of the Khao Man Gai rice. And then you got a little pinch of sugar. That's gonna just bring out a little bit of sweetness in it. You need that pinch of sugar. Always gotta taste and see where you're at, you know? And then adjust. It needs more soy though. It's really good. I'm liking where this is at. And now the leftover chicken. Just to toss through. A little bit of chili and vinegar. I like the acid that provides. And then you're done. We're gonna turn off the heat here, add some freshness.
You know, look, I was like, where are the greens? I know there's some green coming. Wow.
And keep in mind, as I said before, and if you watch my Instagram stories or whatever, you'll see that I make fried rice different every time. So this is like a very, very simple version. Just a little bit of this.
So not really the chili, just like the vinegar.
Yeah, the chilies are fine. I mean, you can add some for good loving. Just place it in there. A little bit of cilantro stem. More greens you have, the better. Always want a little bit of lime. I like acid. A little more scallions.
Wow.
It's so fatty because of the rice. Oh, one thing hold up. We need to add this to the video. Get the fucking camera. I'm like, the flavor's not quite there, and it's because we missed the white pepper and the Thai chili flakes, dried Thai chilies. I was like sitting here like thinking, why the hell does this not taste right? It's usually an instinct, you know? put this on. This really changes the game. Sorry, Josh. Little Mark Wiens there.
Well, that's a good point though. Like if you sit down and you're not satisfied, you can change the food. You can go back and add something you forgot, or just say, hey, this needs more of this. Don't feel like you have to be satisfied if you're not satisfied.
Exactly. It's season yourself. White pepper. Look at the difference on this. It's just going to be explosive. Okay, so just add in the white pepper and the chili. Now it totally different taste. So if you're not satisfied with something, who cares? Just eat something, like change it. So we're making Khao Soi today. I had it 10 different times. Everyone does it differently. One person a lot of coconut, one person really spicy, and you kind of have to taste all these and see what you like about each of them and try to incorporate that. And that's what you kind of bring back. And I mean, that's just taking influence. That's a fundamental concept that you use throughout any job or any kind of art. If you're a musician, hopefully you're studying musicians and learning things that you like and then incorporating that into your own voice, quote unquote.
What is it about Khao Soi that you like so much? Because it is such a different kind of curry than anything else you're eating in Chiang Mai.
I love the condiments, as we pounded before. Like honestly, this makes it for me, garlic and chili. And the fermented mustard greens. I just love that salty funkiness, but also it's so comforting. It's like you get this soup of the crispy wonton on top, the noodles, yet it's a broth, and it's really a soup. I would say that Khao Soi is more of a curried soup. This is just an all-inclusive one-plate dish. The theme of this whole video is that everyone does this different, and if there's anything you should get from this video is that your grandma probably does it better than his grandma, and that's what you like. So authentic is really a word that means less and less every day to me. As you dig more into the art of something or research something, you realize that everyone has a different way. So anyways, this one in particular has dried long chilies. They're similar to Prick Chi Fa, but they're Mexican chilies I'm using because you can't really find the Prick Chi Fa Thai ones in the United States. They're not too spicy, they're longer. And then this has a little bit of ginger and turmeric. I would say 2 parts ginger to 1 part turmeric. And then it has shallot, garlic, lemongrass. And then what makes this kind of a different curry than the typical curry is the spices. So in this one it has Thai cardamom and coriander seeds. And that addition kind of gives it that Indian Muslim flavor of the spices that other curries do not have. Curries are either boiled or they're first toasted. This is actually technically a boiled curry, I believe, where you just take this paste and you can put the liquid in and just boil it all, but I prefer to toast the paste more to bring out flavors and cook it in the cream. This cream, when you buy, this is store-bought. It's not like if you get a fresh pressing at a market in Thailand, but you see the cream layer on the top? Hopefully we can get that to break and we use that as kind of our oil, but most likely I will be adding additional oil here to toast the chicken and the paste, which is fine. So the big question is, use coconut cream or you use coconut milk when you cook curries? That depends how thick you want it to be. I'm gonna add a little oil to help it break. Part of this curry that is unique to other curries is the oil separation. It's very important. Kind of coats your mouth when you're eating it. It's just at a simmer here. Really just toast the paste here for a little bit. The paste isn't completely done toasting, but I'm gonna continue toasting it with the chicken here. Adding chicken here and completely toasting it.
Your Instagram story in?
Always. This is how I do it. This is it right here. So now it's just about basically bring this up to a boil, and then you can, this is essentially braising. It's a chefy term for just cooking something slow in a liquid. But you can see here that oil separation is what we were looking for. So yeah, just let this come up to temperature, and then you're good to go. So you can just boil this away, it'll be quicker, but if you want a more braisy, tender chicken, you wanna go at a little lower heat for a longer period of time. And the chicken's going to be cooked 15, 20 minutes. Honestly, it's gonna be cooked. Depends on how your heat is, but with dark meat, you're just trying to break down the tissues here and make it a little more tender, so you do it for a longer period of time. So this is about done here. You can see the oil separation, and we're just gonna give it a taste and see how the seasoning is now. Wow, that's good. That's really good. I would say it doesn't need any more sweetness. It does. This is a lot here, so don't worry about how much fish sauce I'm adding. Everything's always gonna taste different. I can't give you an amount where I say 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, 1 tablespoon of this. You have to taste and adjust. Oh God, watch your sock.
You're in a horrible position right now.
Oh, that's perfect. So the time it takes to cook this really depends on the noodle, but it doesn't take that long. You gotta taste, and honestly it's better if you undercook it because you're gonna pour soup over it. So if it's sitting in the soup and it's slightly under, it's better than if you screw it up. So let's kind of take chopsticks and let it do its thing. Often at the table, sometimes you'll see this in it, but often at the table you'll see pickled mustard greens, chili and garlic, been deep fried, and lime. You kind of season it yourself, but for plating it right now as a 1-plate dish, I would do something like this. A little scallion.
Shallot?
Shallot rather, yeah. A little mustard green flavor there. Put a lime there so you can use that. And then what we're gonna do is just top it with this Crispies here. Yeah, this is the same noodle here, the fresh egg noodle, and then we deep fry it. So I like to just spoon over a little coconut cream at the end. Oh wow, that's the Khao Soi dude himself. Alright, let's give this a taste here.
One of my favorite things in the world.
You ask for this like pretty much every day. This tastes like the one I told you to go to, I think.
I was saying, I feel like I'm right back to Thailand.
This is like similar to one that I really like in Chiang Mai.
Bravo.
And you do a little twirl, or you fail like I'm doing. So what I like to do is I put a little bit of chili in here. This is the day that I kill Josh with chilies.
That dish is just so different than what you expect for Thai food when you eat it. Because it's got sort of a bit of an Indian thing going on. There's like that curry.
Totally, yeah.
There's flavors going on. So good though, with the chewy noodles. You also don't really see these egg noodles so often, right?
We're gonna take the leftover chicken again and do another dish. We're gonna make pad see ew right now. See ew means soy sauce, so typically this is just done with soy sauce, but I like to add a few additional ingredients. Fish sauce, because I really enjoy that. Oyster sauce, I feel like oyster sauce gives it this nice little sheen. We're gonna use a little bit of Golden Mountain seasoning sauce, which is just another type of soy sauce. And then here is some black soy. This really gives it the dark color that pad see ew has. And then there's just some garlic in here. This is to taste. You can do double the amount. There's never too much garlic. And we have Chinese broccoli, fresh rice noodle, an egg, and then we have a little bit of chilies and vinegar. The condiment really makes it. Same with like pad thai, the condiments really change the dish, so you need that. And then white pepper, which is behind you. So you're gonna go with some oil here. And you're gonna infuse the oil with garlic. The garlic has color. Stir the egg a little bit, add some broccoli. Let it sit for a moment. Heat's back up. Turn the heat back up again because we're just cooking now. And what we want is we want to get some nice char on these noodles. So we're just gonna add them in here. And we'll start to season this. A little bit of Golden Mountain here. A little bit of fish sauce. Good amount of black soy. It's giving us our color. And just a little bit of oyster sauce. You want to take the bottom of the wok and kind of push the noodle into the wok. You don't want to break it too much, so you're pushing and you're like scooping. That's what you're wanting to do. And then like you want the noodles to char as much as possible. So at home you can do the kind of char the noodle. We're trying to simulate the street food here. You know, I know you trolls in the comments are gonna be like, oh, you can't use the wok at home. You know what? This is gonna be some damn good pad see ew that all of us are eating here. Pinch of sugar, and this right here, chilies and vinegar, you'll always see at the table. You better use it, it makes it taste right, but I'm just gonna put it directly in here so we have that one plate dish because we know we like it. We know it's gonna be there and add a great amount of sourness. And then a solid amount of white pepper. White pepper and chili flakes. Where'd those chili flakes go? We need those. A little bit of chili flakes. And so that's it. Just right onto a plate. How are we doing this?
Wow, that's crazy. At first it tasted like pizza.
Pizza. Kidding me?
I'm gonna turn right this high, but oh my god. I just think there's something about the broccoli.
This is good.
With the noodles.
You know me, I would go with like a lot more chili on this, but the thing about the one plate dish typically is that you customize it how you want. When you're eating with this guy, if I customize it how I want, the spice level won't be correct to what I'm looking for. However,
I like to taste it and not be dying.
but
That's so good.
I would add more chili flakes to this.
That was 4 dishes. Try to make these at home. Obviously, you don't have all the ingredients because there's so many different ingredients, but...
And we forgot to put chicken, but that leftover chicken can be thrown right in here.
We should have chicken, so we have
Yeah, we might need to make another version. I don't think so. We could though.
We could, but just pretend there's chicken.
Pretend there's chicken in here, or that we just took the leftover chicken and pretend that I then shredded it with my hands, and then pretend that you were eating it.
Visualize it in your mind.
Visualize it and eat it through the screen. I can make another batch of this, but we should go to the table and like eat some of this. We gotta do this part because this is part of the theme of the whole video. This whole video is all about one plate Thai dishes.
That's what I really like about it. You guys are all fucking chowing down on food.
Well, if you don't mind, I might try to see you later. And mama's gone, and the papa's off indicator. Well, now you got eyes, and now you should see that I'm lonely. Anyway, I got eyes, and I can see that you're comely.